Hello and welcome back to the Real Estate Regroup Show. I am your host, LJ Walker. Well, guys, I have seen the Priscilla Presley's interviews that she's done promoting her new book. And in that book, it has been said, and she has stated in her interviews, she has said some things that were not so nice about Michael Jackson. So guys, I decided, you know what? Since I am a Michael Jackson fan, let me look into this a little bit deeper. Let me unpack what I do know and then tie everything together at the end. All right, guys, so listen. As many of you know, some of you may not, Priscilla met Elvis when she was 14 and he was 24. I believe that's when they started dating. She didn't marry him, though, until she was just shy of her 18th birthday. So that would mean that he would be 28, 27. Now, they finally divorced in 1973. Back then, she got $725,000 in cash, 5% royalty, half of the money that was made on the Beverly Hills home. She received child support, which was $4,000 per month, and she also received spousal support, $4,200 per month, but the spousal support was conditional. It was conditional regarding death, remarriage, or a 12-month time span, whichever one came first. Elvis didn't die until 1978. She never remarried, so I'm assuming that she stopped receiving spousal support back in 1974. But the child support actually continued. It continued after Elvis died. The estate that Elvis had was run by his father. The only other persons that were on that estate, from my knowledge, is Elvis's mother and Lisa Marie Presley, which is the daughter that Priscilla and Elvis had together. Okay, so, but Priscilla herself was not on the trust and was not on the estate. Fast forward, when Michael Jackson married Lisa, I do remember seeing Priscilla on Entertainment Tonight saying that she wasn't all that crazy about this marriage and that she had some concerns. At that particular time, Michael Jackson was accused of child molestation. And as far as the proof is concerned of his innocence, that really wasn't presented at that particular time. Many of us who were fans, we just had a feeling, but we didn't have any documentation or hard evidence, if you will. Right? So I kind of can understand her feeling at that particular time because Lisa herself had 2 kids. All right. Now, here's something that I didn't know that I found out not too long ago, and most people too. Lisa was actually, she claims that she was sexually molested by Priscilla, her mother's ex-boyfriend. The ex-boyfriend says he did not sexually molest Lisa. He said that he was just sexually attracted to her. Lisa, mind you, at the time of this attraction, was 10 years old. Lisa says that the molestation continued until she was 13. I find that interesting. And you know what else was interesting? Is when I listened to Donna Presley, Elvis Presley's cousin, who says how convenient that was left out of the book. So it doesn't seem as though Priscilla believed Lisa her own daughter. But I digress. Because honestly, a lot of things that prove Michael Jackson's innocence, many of these things are not have come out after Michael died, and many of us in the public, we weren't even aware of it. Okay, so yeah, very, very touchy subject right here. Very touchy. But I'm going to move on. Another claim that Priscilla says was that Michael Jackson was very manipulative. And some fans are very upset about that. But you know what? Here's my take on that. I am a fan with a fantasy, just like many other people who have never met Michael Jackson in person. Now, I do recall in Lisa's book, she does say that, yes, Michael Jackson, she did feel as though he was manipulative as well, but it was more for business purposes, from what I can understand, from what I gathered. The other thing I would say to that is, he's a man. Okay, he's a human being. And I really don't expect him to be perfect, even though perfection is, in some ways, is how he was presented and given to us. Because he was sort of like put up on the pedestal, and then with these child molestation charges, it was like trying to drag him down, trying to bring him down. You understand me? And since everybody was not buying the molestation thing, it's like, okay, well, let's just say or point out how manipulative he was. And they never really pointed it out. They just said it. You know what I mean? So we got to take it for what it is. It's their opinion. They met him and they knew him personally. So I digress. I'm going to move on. Next. The other thing that Priscilla Presley says is that she believes that Michael Jackson married Lisa for publicity. Now, you know what? Back then, I would have agreed with her, because I did see it a little bit that way too, because it's like, you're marrying Lisa Marie Presley, her father is the king of rock, and you're the king of pop. But there are certain other things that come to play now that I said, okay, well, maybe not so much. Why? Michael Jackson and Lisa knew each other from the 1970s. They didn't get married to the 1990s. That's 20 years of a relationship being marinated. It's not like, oh, a fly-by-night, I just met you yesterday, we kicking it, and then we're going to get married. That's not what happened here. So when I realized that, I said, okay, well, maybe there is something else going on. Right? Then the other thing is, after they divorced, I said, okay, it didn't last that long, but then he bought a property right across the street from her. Most people, after they get a divorce, they don't even want to see each other anymore. So for him to buy a property, when you buy property, you're putting down roots. It's not the same as when you're renting. You're establishing something there. The other thing is, Lisa's kids, Benjamin and Riley, they said really good things about Michael. Benjamin said something deep to me. He said that Michael Jackson was the father he needed. Not he wanted, he needed. And watch this, Benjamin and Riley's father is still alive to this day. They seem to have love for their father, but they seem to have a certain relationship with Michael, who was their stepfather. And at that time, after the divorce, he was no longer stepfather anymore. Why was he still in their life like that? Riley was even mentioning about him picking them up and taking them, to school, different places and whatnot. So to me, hearing this, I'm saying to myself, okay, I don't think this was just for publicity. It made good publicity, but I don't think it was just for publicity. So I'm shocked that Priscilla still thinks that way about the whole situation. Then the other thing is that she said is, Michael, I think he just wanted the estate. Well, here's the thing. They signed a premarital agreement. Whatever they came in with, they was going to leave with. And throughout the entire time that Michael was alive, Michael never sued the Presley estate. Keep a pin in that. He never sued the Presley estate. His estate, the Michael Jackson estate, never came after the Presley estate either. And Michael Jackson's estate back then and now is worth more than the Elvis Presley estate. So I don't feel as though if he wanted the estate, he wanted it for money, because he already had it, and way, way, way more than what Presley had. So, but dig this now. So I mentioned before, Elvis did not put Priscilla's name on the estate. And Elvis and Priscilla, they divorced, right? Lisa's name was on the estate. So I believe Lisa, when she was in her 20s, I don't remember if it was 25 or the exact age, she was able to sort of manage the estate at that particular point. So at one time, she did put Priscilla's name on it. But in 2016, she removed Priscilla's name off of the estate. And the reason why that was given was because at that time, Priscilla had remarried someone else. I forgot his name. They divorced, and she claimed that man abused her, and her mother claimed elsewise. So that is why Lisa had her mother's name removed. But I think in addition to that, I think Priscilla also never was open, or probably did not believe Lisa when she said that she was also sexually molested by her ex-boyfriend. And to this day, the cousin of Elvis, Donna, she was like, well, how come she doesn't have that in her book? And that is a good question. How come she didn't put that in the book? How is it that she believed that, or she was uncomfortable with the charges that were being held against Michael, but then when it comes to her own daughter, she wasn't so quick to believe that? Especially after that man said that he was sexually attracted to her when she was 10. That would have been a red flag for me. But you know what? We're all different. We're all different, right? The other thing, too, is this. So Lisa passed, right? It's now, Riley is now the manager of the estate. Guess who sued Riley? Riley is Lisa's oldest daughter, Priscilla. So you accuse Michael of wanting the estate, even though he never came for the estate. But here you are, you're coming for the estate. You're no longer married, and you haven't been married to Elvis for the longest. As a matter of fact, according to Donna Presley, Elvis Presley's cousin, You really did not even interact with the family that much. So it's like I have a little bit of a side eye with Priscilla. But on top of all of this, commotion, Priscilla, from my understanding, is going to be going to court because her partners are accusing her of fraud. And now this last part that they're accusing her of, I'm not all that comfortable with it. They're claiming that she pulled the plug on Lisa. My thing is, she carried Lisa for, 8 months or what have you? Like, mothers, I mean, it's not unheard of, but I don't know. Let me just say I don't know, but I'm leaning more towards the side of I don't believe that part. Even though other people are saying that it's a possibility as well, I'm just not at ease with that, honestly. But I am side-eyeing Priscilla. I do see her in a different light, and it's not bright at all. So guys, let me know what you think. How do you feel about this whole situation? Are you on Priscilla's side on when she talks about, all these different things? Or do you agree with some and, disagree with others? Let me know. Drop your opinions in the comment section below. And listen, from what I have just unloaded to you guys, this should also be a learning lesson as far as how you can set up your estate so that you can do what? Make smart financial moves. Feel free to pass this amongst your friends, guys, because each one, reach one, teach one. Bye for now. Until next time, have a good night.